been centered in pharmacy care, and there's a special story just about your career and evolution, and now part of the outcomes team. Talk to our listeners about who is Heidi Pollock.
Heidi Pollock is a third generation pharmacist. So I know in my heart that I'm making my grandfather, my aunt and uncle very proud with all the things that I've done. So I started out in patient care in the Western New York area, spent many, many years behind the bench caring for patients in that area. I moved into a corporate role, and that was great because I just felt my world of pharmacy expanded beyond a single location. I could impact more stores across multiple states. And I just kept, really digging in and learning from the people that I worked with so that I could get skills outside of that core pharmacy skill so that I could transition into roles I never dreamed of. I did go into the management role, like I said, but that was in pharmacy. I moved into a pharma company for a couple of years and then made the crazy leap into technology. Thankfully, I've grown up around computers. In my life, I've seen computers, not exist and then become the machines they are.
Gen X.
Yeah. And so I've just, I love learning. And so I was like, I had a company take a risk on me. Like, I didn't have much of a tech background, but they were like, we just love your attitude and who you are. And we're just going to hire you and give you this role. And they just threw me into all these technology things and I embraced it. And again, I just kept digging in and, questioning all the other people at my company and kind of just knocking on doors and saying, that sounds like a cool meeting. Can I join?
Yep.
And that's where I learned about product management. And it was just this fire lit up in me. And I was like, I can now help build things that will make a pharmacist's life easier. And I'm so excited to be here at Outcomes. I've been here since May of 2023, working across a lot of our products. I started in our pharmacy management system world, and late last year moved over into the specialty pharmacy world. So I manage a specialty pharmacy software platform.
Oh, cool.
And one of the coolest things that I got asked to lead was a new product in the clinical trial space.
Yeah, just for the listener's sake, and you pharmacy students out there, the role of the pharmacist has never been more diverse of what pharmacists are doing. And you had to have that grassroots in the trenches experience in order to bring to corporate, in order to bring to a technology platform, to merge to what really makes sense for the pharmacist that's stressed out behind the counter and wants to do more, but they don't feel like they can do more. And what you've done is you've actually helped the tech platforms give our pharmacists the ability to do more with less because of reimbursements, because of the struggles of how we're paying for things. But then you're combining that with treatment management, which actually extends the ability to build new revenues through things that have nothing to do with dispensing, but treatment management. And now you're talking about the role of the pharmacist in what? In clinical trials, which it's our pharma companies desperately need the direction and the leadership of pharmacists in clinical trials. But Heidi, you have a special story and announcement that has come right from the heart of how Outcomes is leveraging tech insights and infrastructure support for our community pharmacies and how it dials into clinical trials. This is a good story. I want you to tell us.
It is a great story. And, our life as a pharmacist is in taking care of patients and making sure they get treatment that actually works. And we cannot have new medications come to the market without clinical trials. And I learned that 80% of clinical trials cannot find enough patients to do the appropriate level of testing they need to do. We are extending the research time by at least a year. Millions of dollars are being spent to just continue to try to find people. And at Outcomes, we have that ability. So we have a patient's medication profile, so we can make some very informed inference as to what disease state they have. And so we're doing that initially, but then where the pharmacist comes into play is we have built a new clinical opportunity workflow on our Outcomes platform that will inform a pharmacy when they have a patient that looks eligible
Hmm.
to proceed further for further questioning to see if they qualify for a clinical trial. It's a really quick workflow. You're going to confirm the patient's disease state
Mhm.
and obviously their interest and consent to learn more. You're going to ask maybe 3 to 5 very simple screening questions. And if that patient responds appropriately, we're going to pass them along to the clinical trial organization for further screening. It's that simple.
It's
And you're going to
incredible.
get paid for that.
Well, that's the fun part at the end.
Yeah.
Beyond the mission, beyond pharmacists being involved, we are here. Outcomes has always been about what are we taking from the pharmacy management's perspective? What can we add on to it from clinical support? And by goodness gracious, how do we use all this evidence-based outcomes
Right.
stuff? Not to make a double whammy on the word outcomes, but literally, what's the outcomes going to be, and how does that mean new revenue to support our pharmacies?
Right. The dispensing revenue is constantly under attack,
Mhm.
and pharmacies must, it is an absolute must that you find money, you find revenue outside of that workflow. This is a great way to do it. You're already on the platform, or at least I hope you are. The amount of revenue that Outcomes has been able to find our pharmacies that use our Outcomes and Outcomes Premium platform is tens of thousands of dollars a year, and it's work that sometimes even your technician can help you do. For the clinical trials, we're keeping this in just the pharmacist scope, but being on this platform allows you to just branch away to really expand your business model outside of that just pure dispensing workflow. And the pharmacists of today absolutely have that knowledge. I mean,
Yep.
the clinical expertise that they have just makes them so perfect for this. The relationship that you have, we see our patients 9 times more often than a care provider does. We know all of their medications. I might have to go to 2 or 3 or 4 different doctors, and they're really going to have a difficult time understanding all the medications I'm on. So the pharmacist just sits in such a prime spot
Mhm.
for doing this type of work. There are some large chains that are doing this already, and we want to make sure this opportunity is out there. For all of our pharmacies. We are starting this as a pilot, so we don't have every pharmacy on the Outcomes platform receiving these opportunities just yet while we test it out. But very soon we will be launching it to every pharmacy. It's also location based. We look for trial locations that are about 30 to 50 miles maximum from a pharmacy,
Okay.
so that your patient is not driving all over, heck and high water to try to get somewhere. Um, I just love it. I actually was in a little bit of a clinical trial test probably over a decade ago
Mhm.
in my former pharmacy role, and it's just been super exciting to be brought back and really see that this is a growing field for pharmacies.
You've seen it come full circle. Not
Full
only
circle.
that, but Outcomes actually has multiple 2 dozen different patients that have gone through the process already. So it's not like it might be
Right.
a pilot, but you guys are deep in it already.
We are deep in it, and it was really exciting. That's the other thing, finding appropriate patients is very difficult. What is kind of the trial failure rate where the patient just does not qualify is actually pretty high. That's why we need to get this out in front of a large number of patients and pharmacies. But this week alone, again, we just launched it this week, we've already have several patients make it all the way through the process and pre-qualify, and we're in the process of passing them along to the trial sponsor, and they jumped up and down and immediately went, let's get more opportunities on the platform, let's really get this one trial going. We're looking for patients with atrial fibrillation to test out a new medication. And by the way, it's various stages of the trials as well. So we're doing some, mostly phase 2, 3, and 4, where the medication has already been pre-tested and determined to be safe. Like the stage 4 trials, the drug is already on the market, and now they're trying to compare it to other available treatments to see which one is superior. So, for all you know, the patient's going to get something that's already sitting on your shelf.
Hmm.
And we're just doing comparator studies. So, lots of different unique things that we're doing. Again, I find it so exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
And listen to this, pharmacy owners listening right now. This is a marketing opportunity for your pharmacy to stand out
Right.
in your community, in your region, in your state, because there are connections to how are we bringing more information and more transparency to the communities that you're in. The communities already trust you. You're the most trusted healthcare provider that your communities have. The local community independent pharmacy who is advancing healthcare by becoming involved in clinical trials. And then you turn around and you use this marketing opportunity and not only take out a little press release or a story in your local paper, and of course on your Facebook and your social media, but reach out to your local Congress people, congressmen, congresswomen, and have them understand the full circle of the importance of keeping our independent community pharmacies alive and
Right.
thriving, especially in places where we have pharmacy deserts. So this is big full circle stuff.
This is big full circle stuff. And, you can help promote yourself to your specialists or even your primary care doctors in the area that you're really advancing patient care and you are trying to find each of your patients the best possible treatment. We all know that everything out there doesn't work for everybody. And you know better than anyone else which patients are struggling and really are still searching, desperately searching for a treatment that will help. And I think letting your providers in the area know that you're just next level. Like you're not just sitting back and trying to just put pills in a bottle, which everybody thinks that's all we can do.
Yeah.
We are so much more than that. I actually wrote a blog post once about pharmacists hiding in plain sight.
Yes, I remember.
We're
Good blog.
we're hiding in so many different places: lawyers' offices, research institutes,
PBMs,
PBMs, tech companies,
specialty pharmacy,
yeah,
like
exactly.
everything.
We're everywhere. People
Sports
don't.
pharmacy. There's so many
Oh
sports
my gosh,
pharmacists coming
that
out.
is so exciting to follow the sports pharmacy
Yep.
stuff. That is so important because an athlete can get like kicked out of going to the Olympics.
Exactly.
But I do. I just really love the opportunities that Outcomes has presented me in just a very short time. Again, I've only been here 2.5 years, and I've already done some really, really cool, exciting stuff. And I think this is really the coolest. Like when we talk about it internally, like the eyes just get so excited. And this is backed. I have a whole clinical team backing me as we build these opportunities out on the platform. So these are very well vetted clinical trials, the questions that are going to be in the opportunity itself. So as clinicians, we 110% believe in this.
Well, we are lucky to have had this opportunity to interview you again, Heidi Pollack, on the Pharmacy Podcast Network. Outcomes is just as lucky to have you as part of this team and the bigger team of where is pharmacy care going. Clinical trials is part of it. We're here at ThoughtSpot 2025 at the Outcomes booth, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.